All right, we're going to start a new tutorial today. This one's going to be about a quick gamification technique that a client of mine requested, and I thought this might benefit everybody. And this is going to be a dice roll to win. So the premise is we have a user who gets a daily token, let's say, and every day they have the ability to cash in that token for a dice roll, and if they end up getting the correct number, then they win. So let's go ahead and do this. So first thing we have to do is set up our sheets. So we have our user sheet. I imagine we're going to have a dice sheet, and then we're going to have user roles, possibly to keep track of their roles and timestamps and all of that. That might be all that we need. We'll see. All right, so for our user sheet, we're going to need the main three. We have email, name, and photo. For dice, I imagine we have our 6-sided die. So we have one. Let's actually do this. I think I remember what to do here. So we have sides, and we have 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then our roles, we'll kind of keep track of who has what. So we'll just do email. You could always use a user ID, but we'll just do each email to keep it simple. The number they rolled, so we'll say dice roll and timestamp. That way we can keep track of that they only get one roll a day. And we could do a win column, but we'll see when we get there. All right, so it's the email, name, photo. Let's see what else we need. Maybe total number of points. A points total, possibly something. We might use this, or we might use a roll-up column instead. We'll see. All right, we'll start with that. We're going to go ahead and create our app. Actually, first, let's go ahead and throw in an email address. It can be anything. So I could do something like, glidetest@email.com. Doesn't matter because we're going to preview as this user. All right, next step, we're going to go ahead and go to go.glideapps.com and create a new app from a Google Sheet. And we're going to select the sheet. This is the dice roll to win sheet. There we go, select. All right, so the first thing we have to do is set up our information here. So for our privacy, we're going to do public with email, and Google counts fine. We don't need really email addresses, we can hide them. And then we'll come over here and set our user profile sheet. Boom, done. All right, so now let's make this a detail screen, and we're going to go ahead and make this where email is the signed in user. Awesome. And then we're not going to do any sort of onboarding experience. We're just going to go ahead and have them have a daily roll button. So we'll do button. We'll call this daily roll. We'll set the visibility conditions of this later. If we wanted to get fancy, we can make this like a circle button down here at the bottom and add like a dice icon on it, but that's okay. We'll just do daily roll. And this is going to be a link to screen where we'll do, why can't I do this item? Doesn't have a relation column. Okay, I guess we're just gonna stay on the users. Okay, so daily roll, and then again where email is the signed in user, and maybe here we have like a dice roll. So I found this one here is kind of neat. Wish it didn't have the black background, but that's okay. So I'm thinking that we'll have like one with the black background, and then like once they hit stop, then it'll show a number, and that'll be the number that they use, right? So we're going to go ahead and show the image from URL. Okay. And then we could have another button that says stop. And imagine this button's going to be like might be a compound action. Might do a couple of things. We'll see. We'll probably do like an add. An add row is probably the one that we're going to want. All right, so we need to add a random number from 1 to 6. All right, so in this users column, you can have random die, and we could have a single value where we're pulling in random from our dice sheet sides. So here you see it's a 4, right? And if I were to display that, which I'm not going to do, that's actually going to be behind the scenes what the actual number of the dice is, right? And then everything that we do here is just for show. So here you can see, like, here's my random die. Well, it would be there. Why is it not showing up? Sign in user. Being filtered? Oh, I'm not, because I'm not previewing to. Okay. There we go. Alright, so my random die right now says it's a 1. And so I imagine it's going to be like, maybe we need like a 6 to win. Or could have used a text component. Like this, maybe. Boom. All caps. No. Alright, so then I imagine that they're going to hit stop, and it's going to check to see if this number at that time is a 6. And if so, it'll say, yay, you won, and show a 6. And if not, it'll say, sorry, no, you didn't win. They'll never see this number. It's just behind the scenes at the moment. Right? So then what we need is image that goes along with each of these. And maybe we want the black background would be good, right? All right, so let's find some dice images. A 6-sided die. And I want with a black background, just so it matches. Color black. Let's see if that comes up with anything. Nothing good. It's gameicons.net maybe, but let's stick with this. Does it give us all numbers? They do. Okay, that works. Okay, so here's our 1. Copy image address for our 1. And we're going to come over here to our spreadsheet. Die. We'll paste that in. So we have image. There's our 1. Let's see if it follows the same schema in the URL, because it'll save us some time. So blah, 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 2. Okay. So let's do this, and we'll say 3, and then 4, 5, 6. I imagine that's what it is. You can do a test if you want. So let's say like thumbnail test. And this is going to use the image function. And it accepts a URL, so we'll do that. I should have 6. There we go. Okay, cool. Glide doesn't know how to read this. It only knows how to read URLs, but this helps us in the spreadsheet anyway. Okay, so then what we need to do is do a relation from this number back to the dice in order to grab the image. So we're going to do a row die, where we're going to say we're going to match the random die to dice sides, and then we're going to do a lookup of dice image. So it's going to be a lookup of the rel die image. Done. Okay. Not pull anything. So 4. Oh, except the refresh. Boom. There we go. Nice. Okay. Now every time I change screens, it's going to change. So here it says it's a 2, right? And then here it says it's a 4. So when I come in here, this should be accurate. Okay. So then I'm going to hit stop, and I need to have some conditions happen, right? So I need to show an image here, and this image will be displayed only when they've made a roll. So first, to think about it, we need to make that roll. So this stop button, it's going to be part of a larger compound action, but we'll start with just the one thing of the add row function. So here we're going to add a row, add row to the roles sheet. Email is email, timestamp is the current date and time, and their dice roll will be the random die. Okay, we'll call this save. All right, so nothing's going to change on this screen at all, but when I hit stop, right, I now get a roll with that information. Okay. Now, I need to grab the timestamp here. So I'm going to do a relation between this and the roles. So we'll call this rel roles. We're going to relate the email to the roles email and match multiple. And then we need to get the latest roll. So last roll. So we're going to do a roll up. Roll up here of that relation and get the dice roll. We're going to get the timestamp. Yeah, I'm going to get the timestamp of the latest. Okay. So this is the last roll timestamp. And then we're going to get the last, or then we need to relate to the latest roll. So rel, well, we need to do a template though first, don't we? Yeah. There's probably a couple ways to do it. This is the way I'm thinking of. So let's do email last roll timestamp. This will be a template column. E-T, where E stands for email and T stands for timestamp. And then we need to create an identical column in the role in order to match it. So we're just going to do email and timestamp. So again, we'll do email timestamp template E-T. Again, same thing, E for email, T for timestamp, done. All right, now we're going to relate rel to the latest roll. So we're going to relate our email last roll timestamp to the roll's email timestamp. Okay. And then there should only be one match. So we don't need to match multiple. And then we're going to grab the last roll. Maybe last roll value. This will be a lookup of the latest roll, dice roll, which is a 1. And all of this would be instant, right? And then we want to see if this number equals a 6, then you win. Okay. This is the last roll value. Let's get the last roll image. Okay, so you want to do a lookup of the latest roll. Where's my image column? Oh, I need to do the die. Okay, so hang tight. So here, I also need to do a rel. So this is the rolls. I need to relate to the die. So I'm going to relate the dice roll to the die size. And then I'm going to do a lookup of the die image. So this is a lookup of the die image. Done. Okay, so now that this is in the roles, now I can grab it and pull it into the user sheet. All right, so here let's do last role image. Lookup, latest role, die image. There we go. It's a 1. There's my 1. Okay. Now here I'm going to go back and grab that GIF of this deal. And instead of keeping it here, I'm going to throw it into my data editor. Okay, so I imagine that when they push that button, then they get 1 a day, right? So they push that button, and then this takes place. And then we can see if this last roll timestamp is within today. Because if so, then we're going to display this. If it's not within today, meaning it's like the next day, well, then they shouldn't see what they rolled. They should see the new rolling die, right? So I'm going to add a column. And I'm going to say if today, or if rolled today image. This will be an if then else. So if the last roll timestamp is within today, then we're going to display the last roll image. Otherwise, we'll do the die. And then we'll set this to that if rolled image. Okay, good. All right, so it shows that we rolled a 1, right? But if it's not today, so let's say I actually rolled this yesterday, right? That would make this the 19th. Now I should see the rotating GIF again. Yeah, right. All right, so I can do a stop, and it's a 1. Boom. So this matches, it's good. So 1 matches 1. It's not a 6, so we lost. So now we can add to our form button. Okay, so our stop button. Okay, so we could have maybe every time they roll a 6, they win 10 points or something, right? So we need to have points in the rolls. So if they won points, right? Let's give that a refresh. Okay, so if the last roll value equals a 6, then they win. Otherwise, they would have lost. In either case, we're going to add a row, right? For points, though, we're going to add in 0. They get no points for not winning. But if they, oh, sorry, this is if they equal 6. So if it does equal 6, they get 10 points, right? But otherwise, we're going to add row and give them 0 points. So this is the rolls, email, dice roll, was that random die, timestamp, current date time, but points, custom will be 0. Make sure that looks right. Okay, and then we can have notification. So we can do show notification. Show notification. This will be a success. This will be a failure. Right? We could say you win 10 points. Hooray! Right? This one will be you do not win today. Frowny face. Okay, so that should be enough. Save. All right, and then we want this button to only appear when this hasn't been rolled yet. Right, so this stop button should only appear when the last roll timestamp is before today. Yeah, it's before today. Okay, and then instead they could have a button that says return. Or something. There's already a back, but you know, whatever. It'll look like the button changed on them to return. And then this should only show when the last roll timestamp is within today. And the action will be just go back. Like that. And then this daily roll button should only appear when yeah, it should only appear if they haven't yet rolled today. So this button only appears when the last roll timestamp is within today. Oh, sorry, is before today. And then instead, we can show come back tomorrow. We'll make this a transparent. And this will be when this is within today, right? And instead of a link to screen, we can just do a show notification that says, see you tomorrow. Okay, so all in all, now we still have to add points, right? So I guess two ways we could do that. There's two ways we can do that. We can either do an increment or we can do a roll-up of all the points that they've won. So probably the easiest way would be to do an if-then here. So if we're only looking for the number 6, let's say, right? We're going to say if 6, then email. And again, we're in the roll sheet. So we an if then else. So we could say, hey, if they rolled a 6, then we're going to put their email address in there. Otherwise it'll be empty. Okay? So because I did not roll a 6 here, I don't have any email. But let's say if I did roll a 6, right? Now I have an email. And now I can do a relation, a multiple relation. So I'd say rel winning rolls, where I'm going to relate our email to the roles, the if6 email, match multiple. So every time I roll a 6, it's going to add another match to my relation. And then I can do a roll-up of the winning rolls and the total number of points that I've won. Okay. And we'll do it needs to be a sum. So this would have been a 10, right? And this needs to be a number column. If you want to, we can give this the value of points. All right, so then this roll-up is points of the sum. Boom. All right, so then the only thing that I need to do here is get rid of this points column because I'm not going to use it. And then on here, I can display somehow, however you want, right? Like signed in as, and then like the email address, total points. All right, so some sort of like player profile here maybe. And then let's come back tomorrow. All right, so let's pretend that I made this roll on the 18th. Okay, I should now see everything. Right, I can still do my daily roll because I haven't done it yet today on the 20th. I see this deal here. I need to roll a 6 to win. I hit stop. And did I get a 6? I didn't get a 6, but it said that I won. Did you see that? I return. Oh, did I not change? Did it say that I won? Did I miss that? I have to go back and take a look at the video. But I didn't win. I got a 4. But it gave me 10 points. Why is that? All right, let's go ahead and check my logic. I might not have saved my logic. All right, let's adjust. I thought I saved it. All right, let's say this is the 17th. So I can see the button again. Troubleshooting. All right, so this stop button. So if the last roll value equals a 6, oh, this probably won't work because I'm adding a row and then I need to check it. So this last, okay, so my logic is faulty because this logic is going to take a look at what I rolled previously to adding the row. So it's looking at my, like, yesterday's value was a 6. That's why it gave me the 10 points. So I can't do that. So I can't add points here. So I'm going to have to do something like add a row. Yeah, too bad you can't do like an if then else afterwards. So okay, so we don't want the last row value. I think that's what the problem was. Here it's a cancel. I don't need the last row value. I just need the random die value. I used the wrong column. So let's go back into this again. Not the last row value. We want just the random die value. If that's equal to 6, then you win. Okay. So let's try this again. Stop. Did not win today, so it should not be a 6. 3. There we go. Okay, I return. You can try this a few times if you want. So if I were to go to like the 10th, let's see if we can get a 6. Did not win today. Got a 5. It's close. 5 is close to 6. It's 1 away. Okay. Got a 1. Did not win today. But yeah, there you go. So we have it working. Lots that you can do with this, right? If you wanted to have some other, I guess you don't need to see these tabs, obviously. So yeah, you can pick whatever number you want, or it could just be a random value, right? Trying to get a 3, right? You can have another random value up on top there, and if that random die value equals the random today value, then you win. Lots of ways you can go about doing this. So if you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully this tutorial helped.